All right, everybody, welcome in season 3, episode 9 of the Swishlist Podcast. We have so much to talk about tonight. We're going to discuss Anthony Edwards beating the Oklahoma City Thunder and what to do with the beef that's between Ant and SGA. We're going to discuss the Knicks not hanging a banner, the MVP race, what's a better accomplishment, winning in 3 decades or winning with 3 teams. We need to talk about Michael Jordan and the fact that he's got inflated stats in his early career. Is he really the GOAT? What do we do with Giannis all time? The Warriors are bad, but Steph's great. We've got a point guard gauntlet. Can you name the 2017 All-Star team? We have a lot to go through, and there's even more than that. I'm super stoked to jump in. We have to start by talking about Anthony Edwards versus SGA. I watched the game. Incredible game. Absolutely incredible game. And there's one thing that's very clear. Everything that SGA is, Anthony Edwards hates. And it feels like they are opposite sides of the NBA coin, where you have one guy who is a foul merchant, the flop to get the flagrant call. He obviously gets shoved by Ant, but embellishes the play to get the call. Everything about the fact that SGA gets those calls, and then you turn around and in the same game, you're watching Ant getting hammered by these guys, right? An arm bar across both arms when he's going to shoot, trying to pass to Naz Reid, same things happening, and the Timberwolves just don't get the calls. Like, they just don't get these calls that SGA and the Thunder or Luka and Jokic, that all of these guys are getting. And to me, it's getting ridiculous. And so it feels like sweet justice to see Anthony Edwards ball out, hit a step back 3, then he gets the block on SGA, gets the rebound, and gets the steal to close the game. He just said, it doesn't matter what anybody else is going to do. I'm going to win this basketball game. As an Anthony Edwards fan, as a Timberwolves fan, and as a fan of the NBA, I loved it.
It was amazing. That is one of the best games of the season, through and through. OKC gets a good start to the game, and then Chris Finch gets thrown out, trying to protect his entire team, which I think that statement was needed to just make the refs realize, hey, we see what's going on out here. Like, let's even this out, because Lou Dort just plays wild while he's out there. Same thing with Cason Wallace. I saw him on a play just grab Bones Highland's hand, and he just gets to do that. He just gets to do it. And like you said, by the end of the game, like, Ant took over defensively and offensively. That step back 3 that he hit, the block, the steal, he won that game and was like, I'm the guy in the league right now. Let me show you right now. So shout out to him for what he did out there. The whole discourse with the foul things, I think, was kind of shown in that game. And I think Ant got his little get back. They passed it up to Shea on a fast break, and Ant just shoved him out of bounds, just shoved him. And it was just like yo, you got to play basketball, bro. That's one thing I can appreciate about Ant, is he goes out there and just plays basketball. He's not ever searching for a foul. If you foul him, he'll call it out, but you give him a lane, he's not looking for a body to put on somebody for a foul. He's just playing basketball out there the right way, and that's why you can appreciate Ant more than you can appreciate some of these other stars sometimes.
It is getting a little bit ridiculous when you watch Caruso, Dort, and Cason Wallace get away with so many fouls. And it just feels like the way their coaching style is foul every time. They can't call them all. And what's so hard is you watch it happen on one side of the ball, and then Shea gets the calls on the other side. I think that's what's so frustrating, is because the officiating in Thunder games specifically feels so imbalanced because of the way that they play defense, the way their guards play defense, and then the way that they get all of the fouls offensively. I don't know what to make of it, but I will say this. The best games of the season this year have been the games that the Thunder have lost.
It's true. If it's a close game with the Thunder, it's an entertaining game.
It's a
That's
classic.
literally how it's been.
Like, you've got the Spurs semifinal game was incredible. The Timberwolves game, also incredible. Like, any game that's a close game for the Thunder, it's been must-see TV. So now we're looking at the Thunder, who have lost a couple of games here in just the last week. Are they starting to break at the seams? What can we expect from the Thunder moving forward?
I think the Spurs finally started to show some cracks on what OKC is. If you have a type of guy like an SGA. It seems like Castle and De'Aaron Fox were their two guys that were doing it. But if you're willing to match the physicality and go out there and a coach is willing to get tossed out of a game to make a statement for the team, you can be in a game because Chris Finch gets tossed out. The team goes down about 15. I
Oh,
mean,
yeah.
they were losing. And then they immediately come back into the game. It's back and forth. I think there was like 15 lead changes in the third quarter. Like it was just a quality basketball game. So I think the cracks are starting to show not just for other teams, but on OKC side as well. Like, okay, we had our little Cinderella run through 27 games, but like we are an NBA team and we got to lose some games at some point. Like there is other talent in the league. And I think we're at that point where it is going to start to show. So January might be a really interesting month for OKC.
Switching gears a little bit, when the Lakers won the NBA Cup, they hung a banner. When the Bucks won the NBA Cup, they hung a banner. The Knicks, who haven't won a title in decades, chose to not hang a banner. Is that an FU to Adam Silver in the NBA?
It is. It's a FU to the entire league, especially, of course, the Lakers and the Bucks. Like you guys chose to hang a banner for this thing. I think it's a great statement by them. Post game interview from Cat right after the cup is like, we don't see this as we've won anything, but we just see this as we can win a series, we can win a type of playoff environment. Whereas it's not really we won something during the regular season. We just showed that we can win something in a playoff form. So I think it was a great statement to just be like, we don't care about that. The end goal is a championship. I thought the Bucks were going to do it last year. I really thought they were going to do it. Just let the Lakers be the Lake Show. They can have theirs. And then Giannis is like, we're not hanging a banner, but they did it too. So I think it's the perfect move by the Knicks, especially as a contender in the East, to just be like, we're focused on the bigger prize. We're focused on winning a championship. This is really cool. All our younger guys, our guys who are not as big on the payroll, get an extra 500,000. But other than that, we look at this as a positive and we move on. So I think it's really good for the Knicks.
This puts the team that wins it next year in the most impossible situation. Because now, if you win it next year, do you hang a banner like the first two teams and you probably have the NBA applying pressure for you to hang a banner? Or do you follow the precedent that's been set by the Knicks? And now, what do you do 10 years from now? If the Bucks and the Lakers are the only teams to hang banners, do they take them down? Like it's such an interesting situation to be in now.
It has to be because, like you said, the league, Adam Silver, if you choose to not hang a banner, then it's like, we don't care about this. And the whole
Yeah.
idea is we want you to care about this. We want it to be competitive. And so hopefully it's like a every other year type of thing. A team's like, yeah, we're going to hang a banner. Next year, somebody's like, no, we're not hanging a banner. I hope we just keep going back and forth so that there is some type of discourse about it, but there's no finite ground of yes, you will, no, you won't. I think it's really good. It makes for a conversation.
Okay, talk to me about the MVP race. Obviously, Jokic is leading it, but you got a couple of names. Where do we stand right now on the MVP race in the NBA?
So the MVP race, we have Nikola Jokic leading the way, of course, as he's done through the last 4 seasons at this point. He's averaging a triple-double. I think he leads the NBA in assists per game. No doubt that he is the best player in the league still. Close second is, of course, SGA, averaging over 30 a game. Really efficient player. Good defender as well. Second in MVP voting. Second MVP race. And then Luka, of course, is third. He's always going to be in that top 3 conversation. He's averaging almost triple-double numbers. Still think leading the league in points per game. This is my thing with the MVP this year. You can't give Jokic a 4th MVP. I don't think you can do it without him winning another ring. I think an MVP is a narrative award, and I don't think they're going to give Jokic another MVP before he gets another ring. 4 MVPs for him is crazy. It is crazy. It's a narrative award, so I don't think we can give it to him. In the 2 spot, you have SGA. If they break the record of all-time wins, if they do better than 73, I think SGA gets that second MVP, especially if all he has to do is he's just going to have to meet the minimum games. And then for Luka, if those 2 things don't happen, I think Luka gets it no matter what, as long as the Lakers are a top 4 seed in the West. I think it's about time with all these top 3, top 5 finishes that Luka has had, all of his first team all of his first team All NBAs. It's just about time for Luka to get one. The switch to the Lakers, him leading the league in points, these 40-point triple-doubles that he's having. I think it's just about time. He's entering that prime of his career, year 7. MVP's a narrative award. Luka is bound to get one within the next few years. So if those two things stay consistent with the top two, I think Luka is going to win his first MVP this year.
Luka's scoring 34 a game right now. But the fact that you are saying that Jokic isn't going to win MVP when he's averaging a triple-double is crazy. The fact that
Shea got it last year. He averaged a triple-double.
All I'm saying is I think that Russell Westbrook averaging a triple-double for 4 consecutive seasons and winning 1 MVP has made the triple-double average not statistically relevant anymore, which is wild to say as a statement.
But it's Nikola Jokic. That's why I'm saying it's a narrative-driven award. You can't argue Nikola Jokic is the best player in the league. But This is why I'm saying the MVP award is a narrative-driven award. I don't think you can give him 4 of them. I don't think he wins it this year. It's just not right at this point.
Right now, he has the same number of MVPs as Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, and Moses Malone. To move to 4 MVPs, that puts him in LeBron James and Wilt Chamberlain discussions. LeBron being a guy with quite a few titles, 4 titles under his belt.
The 4-time MVP conversation is you are up there. And I don't know. If by the end of his career, he only has 1 ring and 4 MVPs, that would be kind of crazy. But it's not the end of his career. But narrative-driven award, unless the Nuggets are a 2 seed, unless they are competing for that 1 seed or a 2 seed with the Thunder, I don't think he wins it. I think there's going to be too much of that narrative-driven award. He already has 3. He's not getting it.
Yeah. The only people past LeBron and Wilt, you've got Bill Russell with 5, Michael's got 5, and Kareem has 6. You got to win a lot of rings to enter that conversation. While we're on the topic of titles and MVPs, I have a question for you. Rhoman, what is the greater accomplishment? Winning a title in 3 separate decades or winning a title with 3 different teams?
Ooh. See, we've talked about this, and I go back and forth on this because the player arc, as we know, is a Tim Duncan versus a LeBron James.
That's correct.
Tim Duncan wins it in the 90s in his 3rd year. He wins it a bunch in the 2000s, and then he gets one in 2014. And then LeBron, team hopping, of course, but he has one with 3 different franchises. And before, I was saying Tim Duncan. I mean, you have at least 2 different styles of play. Tim Duncan is able to win one in the 90s right after Jordan. He's able to win multiple in the Kobe era of the NBA. And then he's able to steal one from LeBron in the middle of the 2010s. That is quite an accomplishment. With LeBron, he's got 3 different rings with 3 different teams, 3 different coaches. Might I add that these are 3 coaches that don't have much experience in winning. That's one thing that LeBron doesn't get a lot of credit for. This man has taken not so experienced coaches to the promised land lots of times. So before, I was saying Tim Duncan for the longest time, but the system just works. Tim Duncan works. He's going to get you wins. With LeBron, you can put him in literally any situation, and I can guarantee that he's going to go to the finals. So I think I've switched my take on this from a individual player standpoint, which one matters more. I think it's LeBron.
Okay, so let's dive into this a little bit further, right? The question with Tim Duncan is, was it Greg Popovich's system or was Tim Duncan the system? Because the Admiral, David Robinson, was not winning titles before Tim Duncan. And when the Spurs tried to recreate the system with LaMarcus Aldridge and they're plugging in DeMar DeRozan and they've got DeJounte Murray, right? They're trying to do the same thing. They tried to replace their Tony Parker, Manu, and Duncan players. They never were able to get back to that level, not even close. And so was it actually Greg Popovich or was it truly Tim Duncan was the system and that's why he's a top 10 all-time player?
We don't have any proof of Greg Popovich winning without Tim Duncan.
That's correct.
Tim Duncan retires, and they try the LaMarcus Aldridge. They get DeMar DeRozan, And unfortunately, Greg has his stroke and has to become president instead of coaching. It was just about time. I mean, the man had been coaching for so long. But we don't have a winning testament to Greg Popovich without Tim Duncan. So we have to attest the winning to him, to Tony Parker, to Manu Ginobili. Because like you said, we get the David Robinson. He gets to pair with him. And then you move to the Tony Parker, Manu Ginobili era where you get your Bruce Bowen, and then it moves. You get Kawhi. Like,
Yep.
I think this is just a testament to the Spurs as an organization. We have the coach. We have the player that works for the coach. And then we're going to find the pieces that are going to work around them. And it didn't matter the style of basketball. They were going to win. In the 2000s, it seemed like they were winning every other year. It just works for Tim Duncan.
The Tim Duncan Spurs were the Patriots of the NBA. That's just what they were. You didn't know if it was Popovich or Duncan, and they just won all the time. They were consistent in the regular season. They were always a threat in the postseason, and they were able to win titles in multiple eras. Just an all-time player, all-time teams.
Then I switched to LeBron. It has to be talked about because LeBron is a winner no matter what. You can give him a first-year coach in his prime. He's going to take you to the finals. So LeBron is battle-tested in not just only different coaches, in different conferences. He did it in the East and then went to the West and did it.
Well, and the thing with LeBron is his coaches don't win a ring before him, and they haven't won a ring after LeBron. The only time that they are winning titles is when they have LeBron James on the roster. And that has to be mentioned. It has to be mentioned because a lot of these all-time players, you look at MJ, his coach goes and gets 5 more titles after, 5 more rings with Kobe.
These are great coaches. These are coaches who know how to make a system work. And it does. But with LeBron, as James Harden has said, he is the system. He was the system.
A lot of those guys don't even have jobs. That's how good LeBron is. Like, nobody's looking at some of these guys. The Ty Lue experience with the Clippers, you guys loving that? Eric Spoelstra's been solid. He's got finals appearances. He's been a solid coach. I am not discrediting Eric Spoelstra, but no championships. And then you look at some of these coaches that they hired in Cleveland, those guys don't even have jobs in the league. Like, it's crazy.
Mike Brown won Coach of the Year in, I think it was 2007 when they went to the finals. I'm pretty sure he won Coach of the Year and then didn't win Coach of the Year until 2023 for the Kings. This man had almost a 20-year gap between Coach of the Year, and he won it when he was young because of LeBron.
Yeah.
Like, LeBron is part of your coaching staff. And I think Isaiah Thomas has talked about this on podcasts multiple times, and it's just a testament to LeBron's greatness. Where does this basketball mind come from? He gets into the league and is in the finals in year 4. Like, he doesn't get enough credit for taking the bad organization, like a not experienced coach, to the finish line. And there's so many times where he doesn't complete the job. They come up short. But like, the fact that you could guarantee every single year from 2010, 11 to 2020, besides 2019, LeBron was going to be in the finals. I think that is one of the most incredible accomplishments ever. And he's battle tested. That's the difference. Not battle tested. He's tested in different situations. That's the difference between him and Tim Duncan. Tim Duncan, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. There's no arguing that. But with LeBron, it's, I'm going to switch teams, but I'm going to guarantee that your team is going to the finals. We're gonna win a ring at some point. So I'm gonna give it to Bron.
LeBron truly is an NBA savant. He is a basketball savant, maybe one of 3 in the history of the league, because truly this NBA mind comes out of nowhere, and you look at his background to what he has become, and there's just nothing that's like this, and you just will never see something like this again. Absolutely incredible. Absolutely incredible. It actually brings me to a topic I've been thinking a lot about, and I want your opinion on this. Kobe was a modern version of MJ. LeBron was a modern version of Magic. If you took Magic Johnson and you plugged him into the 2010s, you get LeBron James. I believe that Wemby is a 2025 version of Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I believe if you took Kareem today, what would he look like? The uniqueness of him as a player, it looks like Victor Wembanyama.
I ain't mad at that. Because with Kobe, it's quite literally true. I mean, the same coach. The only thing is that it's the replica. He's just slightly worse in the overall player. One less ring, less MVPs. It's Michael Jordan, the greatest player of all time. Kobe is the second greatest shooting guard of all time. But then the comparison of Magic to LeBron, I like it because Magic had to be a point guard to be the type of player that he was going to be. Like it was positioned basketball then. He was going to be an oversized point guard that was just going to distribute. Like, I'm going to be the flashy point guard. This is what I'm going to do. But modernized version of that is 100% LeBron. I'm going to be a flashy player. The IQ is there, but I also do everything on the court because I'm allowed to do everything on the court. So I really like that one. And then the way that Wemby and Kareem works is the hype of it. Kareem is probably the player with the most accolades going into an NBA career, how good he was in high school, how good he was in college. And the hype was there that this guy was going to be great no matter what. Lengthy, skinny, big man. And then with Wemby, the greatest prospect we've seen since LeBron James as he enters the league. There's not as much hype from because he comes from Europe, but I like the comparison so far through his career.
Yeah, I just think that, right, Kareem had this unique shot. He was such an enigma in the league. And Victor, same thing, right? Both of them feel unguardable when they get the basketball within 15 feet. But you start digging in a little bit deeper. Kareem can't miss prospect. Victor Wembanyama can't miss prospect. Magic can't miss prospect. LeBron can't miss prospect. MJ, not a number 1 overall pick. Kobe, not a top pick. You start looking at some of these like deeper layer similarities. I think it's a lot of fun. We can go into this in a lot more detail, but I'm genuinely curious. If you're watching this, what do you think? Is Victor Wembanyama the current NBA version of Kareem Abdul-Jabbar? We need to know. That segues into a conversation about the GOAT, Michael Jordan. I'm not going to lie. I'm getting a little bit sick and tired of people telling me that MJ's the GOAT when he had inflated stats in the 80s. Did you know that Jordan, in his 3rd season, was the first player in NBA history to win Defensive Player of the Year while leading the league in scoring? He averaged 35 a game. Not a single player has done it since. And you think about that, and people will bring this up and they'll talk about Jordan's greatness. The issue that I have is when you look at the splits between his home games and his away games, he averaged 5.5 stocks per 36 minutes in his home games, and he averaged 3.02 stocks per 36 minutes on the road. There was a huge discrepancy in terms of his defensive performances when he was playing at home versus playing on the road. That's a 182% increase in stocks. In home games versus away games, that's the biggest split difference for any Defensive Player of the Year in NBA history. Now, I get it. You might be sitting there saying, well, you can't prove that the statisticians were inflating the numbers. Well, did you know that Alex Rucker, the former stat keeper for the Vancouver Grizzlies, he told Pablo Torre, who is a fantastic reporter, he told him that scorekeepers in the 90s were purposely adding stats for players during home games. He just outright said it. Now, the Bulls haven't come out and said it, but when you go look at the 87-88 season, go watch the games, you guys. Just go watch the games. There are literally games where the Bulls recorded more steals than there were turnovers in the game. Can somebody make sense of this for me? Because the fact that we scrutinize LeBron the way that we do, every single stat, all of his percentages, and we know they're accurate, when we have a guy that we're calling the GOAT with these fraudulent numbers in the 80s, as if he's Wilt Chamberlain's fraudulent numbers in the 50s, and we just can't talk about it. What's going on?
My only rebuttal, you can't even. There's no rebuttal to it. Like it's factual. They lied about stats. They did. They did the same thing with John Stockton and his steals and assists. But before the play-by-play era, what can you do, man? You know they're not gonna take it back. My only rebuttal would be like, I don't know. We need to stop looking at the Defensive Player of the Year award as really what it is. Like Tim Duncan has 8 All NBA first teams. It doesn't have a single Defensive Player of the Year award. So it's like, does this just mean we just need to invalidate the Defensive Player of the Year award, like as a statistic for somebody to talk about the GOAT debate?
I think you have to, because his Defensive Player of the Year is fraudulent, and you have guys like Rudy Gobert winning Defensive Player of the Year after Defensive Player of the Year after Defensive Player of the Year. I don't think that it's this great legacy award. It can't be if we're awarding it to guys that didn't actually earn it. Hakeem Olajuwon should have won that if this is the case.
I think it's a no, because people say LeBron didn't deserve it in 2013. And it's like, there's the whole Marc Gasol being on the all defensive second team. There's that whole thing.
Yep.
If you're going to say that, then we have to even out Michael Jordan's Defensive Player of the Year award. Like, yes, he won it, but we have proof that this man's stats were getting cheated. So you can't even look at the statistics with that season. You can't.
You have to pull this out of the GOAT debate. If you're going to argue that Michael Jordan is the GOAT, you can't bring up Defensive Player of the Year. That's a fact. Rhoman, here's a question for you. What do we do with Giannis all time? I feel like his career is starting to get really weird.
Giannis is the type of player that's allowed to grow into his greatness. He comes in as this potentially could be great, but we don't know. And then after his first and second year, you just kind of know this guy's going to be a dominant force in the league. Doesn't really ever develop a shot, but you just knew he was going to be a dominant force. What we do all the time with him, he's got 1 ring. When I think about appearances just even in his conference, there's only one other Eastern Conference Finals, and it was against the Raptors in 2019. But I don't know, man. Like, if he really does leave Milwaukee, and I don't know. Because my thinking, the type of player that he is, I don't think he has that much of a prime left. I'm going to be honest. I think Giannis has 3 more years at most.
Whoa.
3 or 4 years. It's too much stress on his body, and I think the injuries show it. Am I wrong? What do you think?
I remember watching those early Bucks teams, and people really thought Jabari Parker was going to be the guy. Like, it wasn't that Giannis was going to be the guy, and he really does become the guy. I think power forward is the most difficult position to rank, because you have Tim Duncan, far and away the number 1 guy, and then you have a lot of guys that have 1 title. Dirk, KG, Giannis. You start going through the names, and it gets interesting. Then you go into the no title names that are all-time players. Karl Malone, Charles Barkley. Like, there's a lot of high-end, just all-time players that it becomes, once you get to 2, it's the most debate. Like, there's more debate that happens 2 through 5 than probably any other position in basketball. Then you start looking at Giannis's title. A lot of people want to discredit the bubble championship, LeBron's title, but then you go watch the games when Giannis was winning his ring. There's no fans around. They were not letting fans down by the players. Like, it was still the COVID era of basketball, but nobody discredits those games. What? Because they were played in NBA arenas instead of being played in Orlando. Like, it does get a little interesting. The fact that he has choked as many times as he has, and most of the guys that you would compare him to have another finals appearance at least. Dirk gets a finals appearance in 07. KG he goes to the finals back to back with Boston. It's really challenging to rank him all time, because he is this great player. But then you get into the postseason and he's so underwhelming. And then he has this Shaq element to him where he's a liability late game, because of his inability to shoot the ball. And so you almost can't go to your best player when you need a bucket in the last 2 minutes.
Their go-to guy was Chris Middleton, and he got a championship out of that. So we're not going to discredit his championship. Like, he didn't win with a superstar. Drew Holiday, Bobby Portis, Brooke Lopez, Chris Middleton. He went and got his ring. Like, we're not going to discredit that because maybe the Nets should have won and they were injured, or he played the Atlanta Hawks in the Eastern Conference Finals. We don't got to talk about that. Giannis got his one ring, and we need to let his career just play out, see where it goes. I think the comparisons can start when he starts to wind down on his career, which, like I said, I think is in the next 3 or 4 years. You can quote me on this, in 3 or 4 years. And yeah, man, it's just year after year of first round exits. I'd like the fact that Giannis has only been to 2 Eastern Conference Finals. It's kind of crazy to me with how dominant, how great of a player he is.
Yes.
He's got a Defensive Player of the Year award. He's got 2 MVPs in a row. But in a lackluster Eastern Conference that we've been hearing about for so long, LeBron doesn't play competition in the East. Like, all they have is the Boston Celtics. Why has he only been to the finals 1 time?
We also need to talk about the fact that players getting old in this era looks different than it ever has historically. Players that are aging in today's NBA, it's not that their numbers just fall off a cliff. It's that their numbers don't lead to wins. That's the difference. Go look at Golden State. Steph is putting up incredible numbers. They can't win games. Giannis, when he plays, can put up incredible numbers, but he doesn't stay healthy, and they're not winning. And so look at the Clippers. James Harden's putting up incredible numbers. Kawhi is an awesome player. They can't win games. And so then you start looking at a name like Kevin Durant, who's putting up great numbers, but he had to go to a young team where the numbers produce wins. And so Shea is putting up great numbers and it produces wins. Jokic is putting up great numbers and it produces wins. Luka is putting up great numbers and they're a top 4 seed. Go look at Boston. Jaylen Brown in his prime, putting up great numbers leads to wins. Wemby, great numbers leads to wins. Jalen Brunson, great numbers leads to wins. Those players in their prime, their performance leads to wins. These all-time players, older players, they can still score 30. They can still score high 20s. They may even pop out for a 40 piece. Steph almost scoring 50. But the difference is those teams don't win. And that's what aging looks like in today's NBA. It doesn't look like becoming a 12-point a game scorer or like Vince Carter in his last couple seasons when he was bouncing around the league. It looks like I'm still a 20-point a game guy. I don't win games.
This makes me think of Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler's averages do not change. They've changed a little bit. He's still averaging, it's about 17. I can think of a year, I think the year that Miami went to the finals, Jimmy Butler didn't even average 20 points per game. And people were saying this is the best shooting guard, and this is the best shooting guard small forward in the league. It's a different type of 20 points per game. It's a different type of 25 and 5 per game. So we can't just look at statistics anymore because Jimmy Butler is on a bad Warriors team right now, putting up his same averages. Like you said, aging is just, it's different in the NBA now.
Let's have the conversation about Steph Curry right now while we're on the topic, right? Steph has been absolutely lights out. Steph's averaging 28.8 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists at 37. He's got games where he's scoring 40-something, games where he's in the high 30s, hitting 7 threes, absolutely balling out. And the Warriors are below 500. And the Warriors are not playing Kuminga. What is happening in Golden State?
You said this at the beginning of the season. Steve Kerr does not play his young guys. We saw it with the Olympics. We've seen it in the past with the Warriors. Kuminga's already had his issues with it. Seems like he's only willing to play Pajemski. And for some reason, Trace Jackson Davis. But Kuminga just continues to not get minutes. And it doesn't seem like he has any issues in the media or he's disrespecting any coaches or anything like that. I don't know if it's in-game mistakes that Steve Kerr just doesn't like. But you don't pay a guy like that and not play him. And if you're going to not play him, it's time to switch things up. Steph Curry is continuing to put up his numbers and you're not winning. Do not waste Stephen Curry. Do not waste the greatest shooter of all time. It is time to switch things up. It's time to make a difference. Like, I know Steph's just coming back, but there's no reason that Steph should put up 48 points and you lose to the Trailblazers. Like, are we kidding? This is embarrassing for the Warriors as a franchise. It's time to switch things up. I don't know what the move looks like, but yo, if it's Stephen Curry, you're wasting this man's 50-point per game. Like, we're missing out on great basketball because the Warriors are just going to be a below 500 team because they're not willing to switch things up.
Well, the worst part about it is you're ruining Kuminga's trade value. Obviously, Steve Kerr doesn't want to play him. So what's the point in having him on the roster? Well, now you can't trade him because who's going to trade for a guy that's a DNP coach's decision over and over and over again? It's like you're going to get nothing in return. If you're going to be a below 500 team anyways, hey, Steve, play Kuminga so you can make a trade at the deadline. Like that's the part that makes absolutely no sense. This is the part that makes no sense at all. Like I get that the dynasty has been cemented. It's all time. It's historic. It's a legendary run from the Warriors. The value of the team alone is insane. What Stephen Curry has meant to the Bay. It is absolutely insane that Steve Kerr just gets to make these arbitrary decisions and waste Steph's prime when he has players on the roster that can add value. I'm not saying that Kuminga is the answer. Once again, what I am saying is everyone on the planet knows the Warriors need to make a change to the roster to make it competitive. And the one asset that people would want more than anyone else that's available, you choose to not play as the coach. I'm sorry. This feels insane. It feels insane.
Teams can now make trades. You can do it. If there's any team that should make one before anybody else, it is the team that is around 500 with Steph Curry on their team. It's the Warriors.
Well, and Steph can't leave now, right? His legacy, his brand is Golden State. It's like your best friends. You see your best friend get married. It's the greatest marriage. They're going on trips together. They're having kids together. It's the greatest thing you've ever seen. And then about 15 years in, stuff starts getting a little weird, but your best friend's too nice of a guy to leave. And you're like, hey, man, you got to get out of there. Steph's not going to leave. He's stuck. He's stuck forever. It's a tragedy. It's a modern NBA tragedy. Let's talk point guards.
Okay. So on the topic of Stephen Curry, we did a shooting guard gauntlet. So let's go point guard gauntlet this time. Just who's the better player? Not one-on-one, just who's the better player.
Okay.
We're going to go 6'3" and under guards. So first one, we got Jason Kidd or Steve Nash.
I'm going to go with my guys. That's Jason Kidd.
Okay, we'll stay on Jason Kidd versus CP3.
I stay Jason Kidd.
Jason Kidd versus John Stockton.
That's Jason Kidd again.
Okay, Bo. Jason Kidd, Iverson.
Allen Iverson. Yeah, Allen Iverson.
Iverson, Kyrie.
Iverson.
Iverson versus Isaiah Thomas. Pistons, Isaiah Thomas. 80s, Isaiah Thomas. It's tough. One we know is the better player, but one we know has a better career.
It's tough because Isaiah's got 2 rings and he won them on MJ, Magic, and Larry's watch.
Dude is a dog.
But I stay Allen Iverson.
Okay. And then top of it, Iverson versus Curry.
Steph Curry. No question, it's Steph Curry. No question.
That's the end of the gauntlet.
That's so tough because I just go Jason Kidd,
Yeah,
and
you
then
stay J Kidd a
I
long
stay
time.
J Kidd like halfway.
That one's rough because that's the spots though. Because you have Jason Kidd, Steve Nash, CP3, John Stockton. Those are like your levels of all-round point guards under 6'3" who haven't won anything.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. But the thing is right. Steve gets MVPs, no finals. Jason Kidd goes to the finals and later in his career wins the finals. Stockton, 2 finals appearances, all-time leader in assists, steals, but fraudulent. And then you've got CP who just has the longevity, right?
But can't seem to make it out of the first round.
Mm-mm.
The good thing is there's arguments everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
The point guard is the hardest position because there's so many mid-tier of the greats of all time.
For sure. Because then it gets messy when you start looking at Isaiah Thomas. Like he's the most disrespected point guard in the history of the NBA, without
Does not get talked about.
Without question, he's the most disrespected. And then Kyrie fans are just
romanticizing 2016.
They're delusional. They're delusional. They are fans of the art of the position and not the truth of the position.
I mean, but Kyrie do get a little disrespected.
You think so?
Like when Kyrie was number 1 option for the Nets, the dude was hooping. Like Kyrie as a number 1 option is not bad. And like he's 50, 40, 90 club.
I'm not saying he's not bad, but the problem is he doesn't have the wins because they were so bad in Cleveland. And because he was so out there in Boston.
Celtics didn't work out at all. Nets,
no.
He gets his opportunity. Nothing really happens.
Mm-mm.
He has been bad.
But he goes to the finals again. He goes to the finals again with Dallas.
Kyrie is probably, where do you rank him as a number 2 option all time?
Kyrie is a number 2 option all time. You immediately think it's really high. It can't be though, because you have some of the greatest players as number 2 options. Scottie Pippen,
Kobe
is above him. Kobe is above him. Shaq is above him because you've got Shaq as a number 2 option behind Wade and Wade's run. Then you start looking at like some of the super teams. You start looking at Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. You look at the Celtics in 2008 with KG and Paul Pierce. Like there's a lot of guys. Dwayne Wade was a better second option when he played with LeBron.
Mm-hmm.
Like I would say that he was a better second option for LeBron. So there's a lot of guys that are ahead of Kyrie as a second option, in my opinion.
Better second option? 2016, Mo? I don't know if there's a better second option.
Bro, the Heat is hard because
no, you're right.
So many times, but then Kyrie goes to the finals so many times. But like you also have to look at the 2011 finals. Look at Wade carried the team.
Wade did. Yep.
LeBron wasn't able to show up, right? Like Kyrie wasn't doing that because LeBron also was showing up. But you have to look at a lot. Go look at the Lakers. Go look at all-time Lakers teams and start. Was Kareem the second option or Magic? That's a better second option.
Yeah.
You go look at the Celtics. Like how many Celtics teams can you look at? Like there's a lot of guys that were better second options than Kyrie.
Overall, you're right. There is a lot more. I'm disrespecting a lot of greats by saying
you are.
But I think individual year, I mean, we can just look at the graphic.
Okay, so if you that's a different conversation, right? Yeah. If you're going second options best year, not the rest of the career, then he ranks significantly higher for sure.
Yeah. But you made some great points though, because like Kobe, Shaq, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, like LeBron, Wade.
Yeah.
I mean, you can even think of Tony Parker in his year that he wins Finals MVP. Like he was incredible that year. So, okay, I want to do a little bit of a throwback, not too much of a throwback, but a throwback for me. We're going to take a look at the 2017 All-Star lineup, and I want to see how many of these guys that you can name. You can start East or West.
Ooh.
This one's tough because it's like sort of recent, but we're coming up on 10 years since this.
Okay, so 2017, we have some obvious names, right? You've got LeBron James, Giannis, Steph, James Harden, KD, Kawhi, Jimmy Butler.
Jimmy Butler was a starter. Good job. Yep.
Ooh. Give me Anthony Davis.
Starter as well.
Okay. And I feel like this is when DeMar was still in the East and there was not like high-end shooting guard play. So give me
Great
DeMar
poll.
DeRozan.
Another starter. Great poll.
Okay. I think that's all the starters.
You covered AD, James Harden, Steph Curry, Kevin
Mhm.
Durant. Kawhi. Did you say Kawhi? You said Kawhi.
Mhm. Yep.
DeMar, Giannis, LeBron, Jimmy Butler. There's one other starter on the East that you have not named.
Oh, who am I missing? Point guard?
Point guard in the East.
Okay, I got a couple of names that come to mind because this is right around when Isaiah Thomas was like balling out.
He's not
Is
the
Isaiah
starter, but he is a reserve. He is a
Okay,
reserve.
Isaiah Thomas
He's
is
not the
there.
starting point guard, but he's there.
Kyle Lowry's there because DeMar's there.
Kyle Lowry's here.
Is Kyrie the starter?
Kyrie is the starting point guard. There it
Okay,
is.
so
Yep.
so those are all my point guards. Okay.
There's one more point guard in the East.
What?
He's very fast.
John Wall.
There we go. It's weird. 2017, like,
Oh
yeah,
my
John Wall's still
gosh.
hooping.
Okay. Paul George.
Paul George is there.
Because that's Indiana Paul.
I believe that's last year Indiana Paul.
So he's definitely there. There's got to be another forward. Carmelo
was a Kevin Love replacement, and he makes it. Yep. Great poll.
I mean, had to guess it.
Yep. Now, these last two as the East reserves, it's kind of like you just had to be there.
I've got two more names.
Two more in the East. But, like, it's random polls. It really is. Like, this dude had a few good years in a row on a very bad team. Oh, it's another point guard. Forgot it's another point guard.
Ooh.
Few good years on some very bad teams. The worst team in NBA history.
Yeah, we're talking about Kemba Walker here.
There we go. Yep.
Okay.
Wait.
2017. Wait. No, I know this. Because 2017.
No way, you get this.
No. I got it. Because 2017 was the fraudulent Atlanta Hawks year. And so it's Paul Millsap.
It's Paul Millsap.
And I know that because of my Utah Jazz connections. That's Paul Millsap.
That's right. East done. The East is done. You did it.
Okay, going to the West. Draymond Green.
Draymond's here. Yep.
Okay. Clay.
Clay is here. Clay's here.
Okay. Oh my gosh. Speaking of, this is Kyrie still plays in Cleveland, which means Gordon Hayward still plays for the Jazz. So give me Gordon Hayward.
Great poll. He's here.
Okay. I'm looking at Memphis. Mark Gasol.
Mark is here. Is here.
Okay, we're cooking. Oh my gosh. How many more?
Three more.
Three?
Yeah.
Okay.
Guard and two big men.
Two bigs?
Yeah.
2017. Boogie Cousins. Dominant.
Great poll. There we go. Yep.
Okay.
I think the other big made all NBA first team the year before, and everybody was like, there's no reason that this man should be here. He has a great point
first
guard.
of all, Russell Westbrook has to be on this list. I don't know what
There's the other guard. There's the guard.
Thank you. So last name.
The guy who is out of the bunch here, but
he's a big,
has, I think, a top 5 field goal percentage in NBA history. And he's really only here because of the point guard that he plays with.
But his point guard's not on this list. right?
No, he's not.
Because I'm thinking about it's definitely not anybody with no. Hold on. Is it Blake Griffin?
So close.
It's DeAndre Jordan. Oh my gosh.
DeAndre Jordan, 2017 All-Star. Nobody was getting that.
What are we doing?
Hey, shout out to you, Mo. You just got every single one. That was beautiful. That was amazing.
Man, shout out to 2017 is the all-time year. All time.
You have DeAndre Jordan and John Wall and Paul Millsap, all as All-Stars. That's beautiful.
Rhoman, we're going to close out the pod with a really fun segment. Rhoman, rank these basketballs, blind ranking edition. You have 7 options. The TF 1000.
Is that what I think it is? The shiny? Is that shiny one? It's the shiny small dude.
You remember this?
This is one our dad used to have. I hate this basketball. This ball's stiff as hell. I'm going to put this 6.
The NBA Elite.
Oh, that one. Like the Nike Elite one. Not the worst one. Similar to an Evolution. I'll put this one at 4.
The Wilson Wave.
Oh, why would anybody? I hate this one. But I'm thinking of a ball that's worse than it. I'm going to put this one 5.
The Wilson Evo NXT.
That's the brighter one that they use in high school now. Not my favorite. Not the worst. I could put that at 3. I ain't mad at that.
Okay. The current NBA ball.
I have held an NBA ball. Like, it is rougher than a regular basketball. It's real leather. It's worse than any other basketball that you could use. Like, I don't think people understand how hard it is to use an NBA basketball. I'm putting that last.
The Wilson Solution, the old college ball.
I'm not mad putting this one at 2. I'm not mad at that. Please give me one. Please tell me one is just a Wilson Evolution.
At number 1, you put the Wilson Evolution.
Yes. Okay. I'm not mad at that list. I'm mad at that.
It's not a bad list. Okay. Blind ranking basketball rims. 7 options. The double rim.
Double rim. Hoping that we get no net, which I think might be worse. I'm going to put this one at, with the expectation that maybe one other one you're going to say is worse, I'm going to put this one at 5.
Okay. The super loose rim, where like you shoot it, and if it hits the rim bounces the ball. You've played on a hoop like this for sure.
Yeah, the shots that you would normally make don't go in. I'm putting this at 6.
The college breakaway rim.
I'll put it at 3.
No net.
My least favorite. That's 7. I don't even know if I swish a shot anymore.
The super stiff rim, like no movement at all.
I'm cool with that at 4.
The NBA rim.
I'll put it at 2, assuming it's a raised rim. A raised rim is going to be 1.
The raised rim.
Yeah, come on. I ain't mad at that. Let's go. Yeah.
Not bad. Okay, and now my final question. Rhoman, what is the better hooping experience? Hitting a shot on the standard polyester net or on the chain net?
The more satisfying sound is the chain net. I can't disagree with that.
I don't think so. I think you're what?
No, the more satisfying sound to me is chain net.
No.
But the more satisfying feeling, look of it, everything is a regular net. So overall, I'm going to have to take regular net.
The greatest sound on planet Earth is a perfect swoosh on a polyester net. You cannot beat that sound. It is the greatest sound.
But when I think of like
that's the greatest sound. I
think of Space Jam, opening scene to Space Jam, and it's young Michael Jordan hitting shots, and it's chain net. There's no better sound than that.
There is.
Like, overall, like the more satisfying everything to it, just because it's happened way more, is definitely just a regular net, just regular.
No, I think you're wrong. Listen, thank you everybody for listening to this episode of the Swishlist Podcast, Season 3, Episode 9. This was a fun one. Now, listen, we have been hosting this podcast now this season for just over 2 months. The entire time, we have had to keep a major announcement a big secret. I've almost spilled the beans multiple times.
I forgot we're allowed to talk about this now.
But listen, my brother Rhoman, he's gonna be on TV. Listen, you're gonna have the opportunity to watch my brother brave the wild on TV on Fox, debuting here in January. January 26th is the premiere for Extracted Season 2. You literally lived in the wild with nothing and lived to tell the tale. Absolutely incredible. We're obviously going to be tracking the show as it airs, but like, what has this past week been like for you with them announcing everybody that's on the show and everybody reaching out to you? Like, how has it been?
Yeah, so we finally got to announce that we went on the show. It's been incredible. I appreciate all the love from friends and family and people that I don't even know that just like reality TV, just showing love for the fact that we went through something like this. I say that it is the scariest, most incredible, worst and best thing that I've ever done in my entire life. Nobody just gets the chance to just leave their life and go and do something like this. The premise of the show is basically me in the wild and our mother, Lindsay, and our brother, Dallas, back at this headquarters location trying to get me supplies as I'm surviving with nothing in the wild. There's a lot of us out there, and we're all trying to be the last one standing. It'll start airing, like Moses said, January 26th of next year. It'll air Mondays on Fox, and then it'll be day after on Hulu and Disney Plus as well. Of course, I can't say anything about what happened out there, but I mentioned it on Instagram. Just know that you are in for some interesting TV. It is a very cool concept for a show, and I'm super happy that we got to go on it. And yeah, Extracted Season 2. Everybody be ready for it.
Man, look at us, me recording a podcast with my reality TV star little brother.
Hey, we're not there yet.
Nothing makes you feel more washed up than this. Let me tell you. My mom, my 2 little brothers just going off and being on TV. And then there's me, the almost 30-year-old dad, just rocking it.
Oh boy, I got 2 kids.
Man, I'm just so proud of all you guys, all 3 of you, for just even being willing to put yourselves out there and do something like that. I think is so cool. Like, I would have never been able to do what you did at all. And so just I'm so excited to get to finally watch it, to get to see how everything really played out. And it's so fun. Listen, everybody does the countdown to Christmas. My countdown is to January 26th. I think that's the greatest gift that's going to come for me in here in the next little bit. So super excited. Everybody go check out Extracted. Go watch season 1 so you are prepped and ready for season 2. Go follow the page on Instagram or on all the social media platforms if you want to find it. We follow Extracted on Instagram, so you can go to who we follow. You should be able to find Extracted in there. So excited for you, man. What a great way to close the pod. Just man, we've been waiting for this. Months we've been waiting for this. So it's a great time. Rhoman, close us out.
We are here. We are at the end of December leading into Christmas. I hope everybody's having a good holiday. You know we are. Lots of basketball to watch. We're on all your favorite platforms. We're on Instagram. We're on TikTok. We're on YouTube. We're on Facebook. Wherever you get your podcasts, we are there. If you're not following us, if you're not liking, if you're not giving us suggestions, giving us your takes, everything, it's getting ridiculous. It's really getting ridiculous. We can't wait for these Christmas games. We can't wait for this week. I can't wait for Extracted to come out so everybody can watch it. Swishlist Podcast, Season 3, Episode 9. We are out.